Hello YouTube, how you doing? It's Keith, Kevin, Ken. I'm Kevin, and it's time again for another Spyderco-palooza episode. This Spyderco-palooza episode is on Spyderco Hawkbill blades, and I have, 28, 26 knives on the table that we'll go through. I am addicted to Spyderco Hawkbill blades, so I have a big collection of them. A lot of them, well, we'll talk about them. But welcome to I think it's the fourth part of the Spyderco-palooza. We made 1,000 subscribers. We reached a 1,000 subscriber goal, and I promised to go through my hundreds of Spyderco collections, some classics. You'll see some classics like the one you see in front of you, the first version of the Civilian, and the first version of the Cricket. So we'll go through all of these Hawkbill blades. These are tactical knives. These are, as Sal said when he created the first Civilian, the one that I have in my hand, he said, this is a weapon. It was the first time that Spyderco didn't make a knife as a tool for electricians or whatever, carpenters, or just regular people who wanted to hunt and fish and do all this. This one is a weapon. It's the reverse S. And then after he did the big reverse S, he took 1/10 of the size and made the Cricket. So we'll talk about all of those knives and a few extra ones as well, and my addiction to Spyderco Hawkbill's blades. So let's get started. Let's start with this. In the early 1990s, Spyderco was approached by a specialized branch. That's how they define it. A specialized branch of the U.S. law enforcement agency, CIA, FBI, who knows? And what they said was their agents found themselves in situations undercover where they could not carry a gun, but they needed to defend themselves, so they came to Spyderco for a special knife. And this is what Spyderco came up with. Instead of calling it the Killer or something like that, they called it the Civilian. And that's what this is. This is the very first one. Early 1990s, it won the Blade magazine most innovative design knife. Spyderco came out with their patented reverse S blade. It has the Spidey edge to it. It is an aluminum handle with, I call it rubber. They call it Kraton, Kraton inserts. It's interesting because, again, Sal did not mince words. This is the first knife they did that was truly created to be tactical. Now, they've done a lot since. He called it a weapon, and he said he wanted these rubber inserts because, if you had blood on your hands, it would still grip. They had a very big clip on it. Now remember, this was in the early days of clips. Spyderco created the clip, and so that it was secure in the pocket. Later, they would take the coating off of the clip because it slowed down bringing the knife out. And we'll show you the new Civilian in a few moments. Back lock, very strong lock. The other thing about the Civilian, and this tip is, this knife is not an EDC knife. It is not an EDC knife. And if you buy a Civilian in the box now, not the older Civilians, but in the box now, it comes with a clip saying this tip is very, very thin. This tip is very, very thin. Do not use it as an EDC knife. Do not use it as an EDC knife. And the reason the reverse S with that full serrated edge, yes, a lot of these blades will be dirty because just putting this together and researching it with so many knives drew me crazy. So I'll use my EDCI formula before I put them back in the case. So you'll see some dirty blades, but they're well taken care of. Some of them haven't come out of the case in a while. Again, it has the strong back lock, the reverse S. This is for people who don't have to train. You see a lot of, Spyderco has a lot of trainers, knives without functional blades, so that police officers, the army, whoever has it, you can train yourself without getting stuck. This is very thin blade, will pierce, spidey edge will rip. It was built to do damage. Again, they were asked to do a knife, but this was their first one. I said strong back lock. The blade is 4.1 inches, very large, very thin. This is very handled just so nice, really nice and balanced. I really love having the classics in my hand as well. This has Gen 2 steel, so I don't know if the first one, the absolutely first one, was Gen 1 steel, but Gen 2 steel, the earlier steels that Spyderco did. So a lot of their earlier knives had Gen 1 or Gen 2, Generation 1 or Generation 2 stainless steels. But it still clicks in wonderful condition. That's the classic, the very first one. This is the newer one. If you were to order one today, you'd get it in a nice leather pouch. This is the civilian of today. Thin, still having the strong back lock. See, the newer clip, of course, the new Spyderco clip. Easy in, easy out. By the way, the very first Spyderco civilian. So if you want to know, what they did was they had tip down as their very first one. The newer ones, of course, Spyderco gets it. It could be, and it was right-handed. Here, Spyderco changed it. You can do up or down, but it's still right-handed. Same reverse S blade. They upped the steel to VG10 steel, so you do get VG10 steel and G10 scales. Nice G10 scales. This one, it really isn't skeletonized. You can feel a little bit of the weight, but it's very balanced for that tip. This is the civilian that you get now. VG10 steel, still that 4.1 inch blade. Spidey edge, because again, it is a tactical blade, and that spidey edge is very tactical. Does a lot of damage. I have to tell you, I love Hawkbill blades. I remember early on I did a Instagram post of some Hawkbill blades. I think it was the civilian and a couple of others that you'll see. And someone wrote and said, well, you can't use them as EDC. Why would you even spend the money? Well, you don't shoot people every day either. And there's a lot of guns being made. You don't mace people every day either. And there's a lot of those being made. I do carry sometimes the civilian, this civilian, because, or some of the smaller knives that we're going to get to, because I think I might need some self-defense. Second, if you don't want to buy the knife, don't buy the knife. Don't criticize me. You're going to see a lot of knives here that you don't see in the daily pocket dump deconstructions that I do every single day on this channel, where I show you 3 knives that I carry. A keychain knife, a medium knife, and a large knife, and you will, man, in the, close to 200 of those that we've done every single day so far, you won't see a Hawkbill blade except maybe as the small keychain blade. I have a number of Hawkbill ladybug, Spyderco ladybugs. But man, these big ones, I really love the Hawkbill blade. I love the ideal of them. I love the shape of them. I love the feel of them. I'm not a big knife, a huge knife in size kind of blade fan. I'm a huge knife fan, but not large knives. But I really like the Hawkbill blades. And I do have blades around the house, and most of them are Hawkbill blades. Okay, so we talked about the civilian. Now let's talk about some of the other Hawkbill blades from Spyderco, because I told you we're going to go through a whole bunch of them. And when I say I really like Spyderco Hawkbill blades, you'll see what I mean. This right here is a Spyderco Matriarch. This one is not a Spidey Edge blade. It is a plain edge. It is with the reverse S. This did not come with that warning, and I'll tell you how you get around. And one reason, it still has that real thin tip. It actually is thinner than the civilian, and that's the thing that'll break off with regular use. And the belly in the original was there because once you pierce, it starts making more damage as it gets bigger. But when you start talking about a plain edge blade, it still does just as much damage. But you notice with the plain edge, the belly's a little bit bigger. And with a bigger belly, and you'll start seeing when we start talking about the small crickets, crickets are an EDC knife, a smaller EDC knife. The tip isn't as thin, but also it has a bigger belly. This has a bigger belly too, so you can do a lot of cutting without really putting a lot of force on that tip. But I wouldn't recommend this as an EDC knife either. But what a really nice knife. I love the FRN scales. Of course, Spyderco loves their FRN scales, fiberglass reinforced nylon scales, because for one reason, they're really indestructible. They're hard to mess up. I've seen blades broken and everything else. I've seen these kind of burnt, but still very manageable. The grip, the multi-direction grip is wonderful, and it's light. Very, very light. I call it space-age plastic. This on the Matriarch, which is just a beautiful knife. 3.6-inch blade, VG10 scales. Just a wonderful knife. It really is. This is the Matriarch plain edge. The Matriarch 2. It is very tactical, and it introduces the Emerson Wave. So we talk about these as tactical blades. That means for self-defense. And with that thin, this does not have belly. This is a tactical one. Smaller than the civilian. This is, again, 3.6-inch blade. Remember, the civilian was 4.1 inch. Has the FRN scales, the backlock. This right here is what we call the Emerson Wave. You see people do the the do-it-yourself DIY version of this. But the Emerson Wave, when this is in your pocket, tip up, this is tip up carry. You can switch it, left, right, up, or down. When you bring it up, this catches the inside of your pocket, and as you withdraw it, the blade, as it comes out, it's fully extended. So this is a fast draw part of the knife. It's called the Emerson Wave. A lot of the earlier Emerson Waves, you see it written right here, patent pending. I don't know what happened. I've seen a lot of knives with Emerson Wave type things. Obviously, Spyderco was trying to patent it. I don't know if they have or not. But this is, again, the Matriarch 2, FRN scales, 3.6-inch. You notice the belly is back to being thinner with that Spidey edge, and the Emerson Wave, which means for fast draw out of the pocket. Look on YouTube. You see some great videos of people with the Emerson Wave and how fast they have rehearsed it. It's like a fast draw thing. Now that, of course, is the Matriarch 2, and then Spyderco just a couple of years ago came out, which makes sense, right? The blacked out version of the Emerson. It has the Emerson Wave, a blacked out version of the Matriarch 2. Again, everything else is the same. 3.6 inch blade, VG10 steel, DLC coating, but it's blacked out. And this is my preferred. If I wanted something in my pocket light because of the FRN scales, not shining all over the place, can't be seen. So when I'm looking at a bigger knife to carry, when I'm in a place that I think might be an issue, the blacked out version of the Matriarch 2 is my go-to. And then I have to tell you guys, the little Matriarchs, I love them. They are just so small. By the way, the Matriarch, really, when you talk about the Matriarch 2, and even the original Matriarch, that handle is the original Endura handle. This is the Endura handle. And so Spyderco is using the Endura handle for these very tactical blades. Original Endura handle, that squared off bottom, the current Endura handle on these wonderful reverse S blades. The little Matriarch, now you're talking about my usual size knife, right? I like this kind of knife. I like the little Matriarch. Usually I tell you it's a 3-inch blade, still VG10. Most of these are VG10, more inexpensive. Good steel, obviously, good stainless steel, but less expensive. But I'll tell you, I really love these smaller knives. Now, as I do YouTube, I usually don't go into, this is a 2-point woota. I usually round up. This is really, though, it's important for this knife to give you the real statistics on the blade because it's 2.97 inches. That's under that 3-inch blade that some of you have problems with where you're living, whether you're international or here, and that is that 3-inch. Some of people don't like you to carry a 3-inch blade. So you could carry this little Matriarch, has everything else I've told you about, but only a slightly under 3-inch blade that makes it legal in a lot of places. And of course, still has that deadly Spidey edge, the serrated edge, and that reverse S. Hey, I told you, I'm a fanatic. One thing you and I am rapidly recognizing is that I really went overboard on this knife thing. It's one thing when you stack up case and you go, man, I have a lot of knives. It's another when you start going through to catalog for you guys during this Spyderco-palooza. Man, I've got a lot of knives. I could not, mentally, physically, I started shaking, had to have this bento box shop exclusive little Matriarch. It's just like the other little Matriarch, except it's in blue, FRN scales, and it is not with the serrated edge. It's a plain edge. It just feels so nice. Oh, so nice in the hand. Again, 2.97. I say that because it's just under the 3-inch blade. It feels so good in the hand. Again, this Delica handles. Delica handles. If you like how a Delica handle feels, this will be just like it. Just a wonderful size. Wonderful self-defense knife as well. This is a bento box exclusive. Bento box contacted Spyderco and said, I want one with blue and I want it plain edge. And I just had to have it. You know, this is one of those collection things. They're useful for self-defense, but do you really need this many of them, Kevin? No. People tell me how, oh man, you just went overboard with all this. Listen, one Chris Reeve large Sabenza, one Chris Reeve small Sabenza, you're set, period. So anyone that has more than one or two knives, it's too many. Okay, we're collectors. That's why I have a YouTube show. That's why we do every day, we do the pocket dump deconstruction. Hey, I collect a lot of things from movies to books to watches, cigars. Okay, I get it. I get it. But man, a couple of things going through these collections. First, I went, man, you have a disease. Second thing is, man, I love these knives. This is the Harpy, folks. I just love the Harpy. You know, I'm not a huge stainless steel handle fan. I'm not. With the prints and the dinks, and they're a little heavier. Even the Harpy that has the cutouts on the scales, the back scale, it's cut out as well. Well, yeah, the back is cut out as well. It's just hidden by the clip. And so, obviously, it's a little lighter. It's that snappy back lock. So that's how you could tell a Harpy. Pretty much the same size. It's a little thinner, the Harpy is. And the blade is a little smaller. I said this is 2.97, just under 3 inches. This blade for the Harpy is 2.75 inches. So it is smaller. Spidey Edge, VG10 steel. It is stainless steel. Because it's so small, though, you know, in your hand, it doesn't feel that bad. 4 positions for the clip. I really like the Harpy. And I'll tell you, for a year or two, I thought they only had one variation of the Harpy. One reason I'm going through this collection is I found a lot of knives, and boy, we're not even close to halfway through. Not even close. But I found a lot of knives that I went after in my collection from some Spyderco collection videos that I watched on this channel on YouTube. And so that's why I want to show you a lot of variations. In these videos, you'll see a lot of variations. Remember, I set out to just get one knife of each from Spyderco. That was my highfalutin goal. And so just having that civilian was enough. And then I had a chance to get that great condition of the very first one. You know, that was good enough, but I had to get the blacked out. That was good enough, but I had to get the plain edge. This was really good enough. It was hard for me to find a Harpy. They're available on the secondary market. I don't know yet if Spyderco has discontinued this. They just changed their website and everything, and that's a rant that I'll save for another time. We got to go through a lot of knives. But that's the Harpy. And then I saw this. Oh, a plain edge Harpy. Oh. You know you're crazy when you start shaking and go, I got to get it. I got to get it now. I got to get it. I got to get it now. Man, I had to get it. I had to get it now. I haven't carried it. But what a wonderful knife. And to get the other variation, I just love the plain edges. For some reason, and maybe it's true, they don't put it in the, I think because, yeah, the tip's a little thicker on the Harpy. I actually think, I don't think the reverse S shape stops you from EDC. The Harpy is a little thicker stock, so you wouldn't break off that tip. You could do, you know, boxes and stuff with the Harpy. You really could. Of course, they didn't include the belly in this one, which would even make it more. But this for EDC, I think, is fine with the Harpy. But that's the plain edge Harpy. I just had to have it. Had to have it. And then, of course, we're talking about all of the Spydercos, right? And again, when I did my Hawkbill blades on Instagram, again, Instagram is @KeithKevinKen. Post at least 4 photos every single day there. I've posted over, I don't know, 3,500 or so photos. So go check it out. You'll see a lot of the collection that you don't see on my daily deconstructions. And you won't even see here as I go through the Spyderco-palooza. But someone says, what about your Merlin? You ever see those comments? Here's everything. I see you don't have a Merlin. They either say that because they want to sell you a knife, or they're interested in, they've heard about the Merlin, and they were right. Again, Spyderco has so many different knives. When you go through the 40 years that they've been in existence, and so many different variations, that sometimes you need to see someone else's collection. And I hope this gets everyone psyched about Spyderco knives, and you see some variations in knives that you're not used to. So I went and found a Merlin. This is the Merlin. Very happy to have it, by the way. 2.9 inches, under that 3-inch, and it has everything else about the Hawk blade. The reverse S, not so much, more just a pure Hawk blade, Hawk bill. I always mix Hawk bill and Hawk blade, but you guys know what I mean. Hawk bill kind of build. This is the Merlin 2.9 inches. And then once I had the Merlin, I went, wait a second, that Salt series? Isn't this exactly the same knife? Pretty much so. And because it's the Salt series and it's pretty much the same knife, it is. Does that mean now I have a rust-proof blade on it? H1 steel from Spyderco. Yup. As opposed to the V. Oh, no, this one. I'm sorry. This is an earlier Merlin, by the way. It has ATS 55 steel, so you could tell that it's earlier by the blade steel. Spyderco was using ATS 55 before VG10. So this is one of the earlier ones. I'm glad I caught that. But of course, I don't live by the water. I really don't have that much use for a rust-proof knife. And then I pause and go, everyone has reasons for a rust-proof knife, especially if you have something that's tactical. Okay? The Salt series, as you know, H1 is 100%. 100% non-rust, 100% rust-proof. It will not rust. And so I said, this is just like having a Merlin. So I'll get that. This is the plain edge version. And yeah, the sickness comes in, and I had to get, of course, the Spidey Edge version. Again, Hawkbill blades, that's what we're going through. This is one of the Spyderco-palooza. One of the Spyderco-palooza videos. I promised to go through my hundreds of knives, of Spyderco knives, and I'm doing that as a very big thank you for reaching 1,000 subscribers. By the way, thumb this up. Let me know that you like these videos. You're enjoying the Spyderco-palooza. Also, don't forget you can subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Also, even if you are subscribed already to the Keith Kevin Ken YouTube channel, hit that bell next to the subscribe button. That's the notification bell so that you're notified as I go through a lot of knives in this collection. We're not even halfway through. By the way, if you haven't been a subscriber and you haven't hit that notification, and that means you might not have seen the other Spyderco-palooza. We have 4 other videos already up. There's a playlist. It says Spyderco-palooza Thank You playlist. And this one will be added to it too. You can go back and check out the other ones. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because this is a thank you for 1,000. We're now on our way. We're way away from it, but we are starting to climb to 2,000 subscribers. Once that happens, I'm going to give the same treatment to one of my Pelican 1500s, where we look at the Browse blade knives, which is my 3rd largest collection. The first is Spyderco, the second Chris Reeve collection, then Browse blades. We'll do Striders, Hinderers, the custom knives. We'll do a bunch of things, including my case knives. But anyway, I had to get the plain edge and the Spidey Edge with the Tasman. By the way, I just said, this is part of the Salt series. I didn't say the name. These are the Tasman Hawkbill blades. I didn't get... Where? Oh, here we go. plain edge. In the middle is a Merlin. So same knife. The difference is this had ATS 55 steel. These two have the new Spyderco Salt Series blades. H1 steel. Rust proof. That's what that is. So let's continue. We're not done yet. Yeah, there's a lot of Hawkbill blades. And I started this with saying, so don't go, you're crazy. I am. Yeah, you can say I'm crazy because I know you guys are too. And most of you say that in a nice way. So when you know you have a problem when you're a Spyderco collector and you go, man, I'm on a roll. Let me go into the Spyderco economic range. I don't know. A lot of people say, man, you're spending a lot on knives. I love Spydercos, but you know the dollars is something that I can't deal with. You know, Spyderco actually has another brand. It's called the Byrd brand, BYRD. And they're all economical knives. I'm talking way under $100. Most of them under $50. And you get real nice knives. Now, so this is the Hawkbill. This is called the Spyderco Byrd Hawkbill. It's literally called Hawkbill. You see, you can tell a Byrd knife because instead of the Spidey holes, you have the Spyderco Byrd hole, right? Same thing. The difference is the materials are a little different. So this is an FRN scale. You have the opener. The big difference is really the steel, right? So this is the Spyderco. It's 2.9 inch. And the blade steel is 8CR13 MOV. So a cheaper steel, but still a stainless steel. If you want a Hawkbill blade, really nice constructed. Is it nicer constructed than a $100 knife? No, but it is Spyderco, same folks. If you want to get into the Spyderco range, you should look at the Byrd. Truly. And of course, I was so into a Hawkbill blades, I continued with the Byrd. Okay. I'm going to tell you something. When I like something, I just like it. Okay. And this is the Spyderco Hawk. And it's just wonderful. This one is the combo blade. Again, Byrd. You see the Byrd open. This one is the plain. Again, it has that less expensive than VG10, less expensive steel, ACR13 MOV. Yeah. Sometimes I even reach into, I think these are my only Byrd knives. But I saw them. I really like them. Of course, all stainless steel on that one. And then we have a couple knives. You will see a couple that aren't Hawkbill knives, but related. This is called a Super Hawk. This is a knife that Spyderco came out, a big knife that Spyderco came out with. And you know, Hawk blades, for a lot of people, don't like Hawk blades because it's not an EDC knife. It won't be used every day. Spyderco came out with the Super Hawk, just a nice thick grip. The blade steel, just really nice. VG10 steel, thick. Look at that. Hawkbill, look how thick. Yeah, that tip obviously goes to a tip, but it's thicker. You could really use this on a regular basis. Thicker. Again, VG10 steel. And look at this. Compression lock. Hello. You're used to the compression lock on the paramilitary too. Now, these are discontinued. These are great knives. It is the Super Hawk. You don't see these around that much on YouTube or anywhere else. I love it. One of the earlier knives with, look, they even have my wonderful wire clip, deep carry wire clip, and the compression lock that I really love. Oh man, just the one. And yeah, really nice, really smooth. This is the Super Hawk. So this didn't sell well because Hawkbill blades, thick Hawkbill blades didn't sell well. Those are good for a lot of law enforcement people, you know, when you're talking about the civilian. This did not sell well. So what they came up with was this. This is the Super Leaf, the Spyderco Leaf blade. You know, that Spyderco shape leaf. Just really wonderful. 3.5 inches. This is 3.5 inches as well. So the Super Hawk, which didn't sell well, the Super Leaf, which is a beast of a knife. Look, they use the same pattern shape as the Super Hawk, same handle, with this kind of smoother G10. Same everything, has the wire clip. This is a beast of an EDC knife, by the way. And, oh yeah, compression lock. Yes, the compression lock, which is just a one. You guys know it's Spyderco loves the compression lock so much that that's the Sage 5. They patted themselves on the back for just a wonderful knife that most people know it for the Paramilitary 2 locking system. But the Super Leaf and the Super Hawk, man, what a wonderful knife. I love the forward choil. This is a great EDC knife. It really is. If you can find a Super Leaf, grab it. If you like Hawk knives, this pairing is just unbelievable. But again, this was what they came out with first, the Super Hawk and then the Super Leaf. And then to wrap up the large Hawkbill blades, I cannot pass up the Karambit. This is the Kara Hawk, the Spyderco Kara Hawk, 2.35 inch blade, 2.35 inch blade. There's that Emerson Wave. Look, this is, again, a tactical knife. If you look on YouTube, there's a lot of people who have training videos on how to use it. I don't know how to use mine, I'll be honest with you. But I love these knives. I really love them because short travel when they open, which is great. I have a wonderful knife like this from Browse Blades, which is a flipper, and it flips so fast up because of the short travel, because of the shape of the knife. Of course, this one has the Emerson Wave, so as you pull it out of your pocket, it'll open. And then, of course, it has a place for your pinky or, of course, your point. I call it the pointy finger because I raised 3 kids and I have grandchildren. Which is really nice. Hard to lose. Hard for someone to grab it from you. Hard for you to drop it. That's the Karambit. So, of course, I had to get that when Spyderco released it just a couple of years ago. And you know me, I needed the classic. Oh, man. What a... I don't know. I'm crazy. I know I'm crazy. Okay, by the way, it has that strong backlock. I know I'm crazy, but when I hold a classic, when I hold the classic civilian, when I hold, we have the crickets that we're going to go through pretty fast on those. I just love the classics that really shows you the thinking of Sal. This is a classic, and this was a collaboration, a wonderful collaboration, and I'm trying to get the name because you know I'm not that good with names, with Warren Thomas, and it says Warren Thomas on it. It's all stainless steel. It's the early version. Again, I love the short travel. You're ready. VG10 steel, 2.1 inch blade. Feels so nice in the hand. Small blade, but can do a lot of damage. Again, I refer you, there's a lot of YouTube videos, but I love the classic. I really do. This small clip, just a wonderful knife. All stainless steel. If you don't want your thumb in it, that's fine. But just a real nice, and it's a frame lock knife. That's the classic. I wanted to end my Hawkbill with that. And then, remember I started with the civilian and the cricket. It would seem like they are the furthest away from being the same. But the truth of the matter is, Sal, after doing his weapon, the civilian, he went and developed this. Bigger belly, can cut open boxes like a champ. It's a real nice EDC knife. It is that smaller version for Sal of the civilian. He looked at it as one of those smooth, when it's closed, kind of a smooth skimming rock for all you old folks, you know, or the yin and yang symbol, you know, when it's closed. It just disappears. Again, they were looking at the women's market, which wasn't a big market for knives. So they wanted something small and handy. Great for men as well. The first one, aluminum scales, anodized black. Thicker, as you can see, thick, and it has the liner lock. 1.9 inches. This has Gen 1 steel. This is the very first version of the Cricket. I found it in just excellent condition. Bigger belly, you see it? Bigger belly. This one has the plain edge. Bigger belly really helps it be a real effective EDC knife. That's the original. Now we're going to just power through because we're already at 40 minutes, but I had to get through all of these. So let's just power through the differences. This is an early, Gen 1 steel, I told you. This is an earlier one, FRN scales, early version. You can tell the early versions always because they have liner locks. Fiberglass reinforced nylon scales, ATS 55 steel, an earlier steel. This one, of course, with the serrated edge. Another early one. How about this? Carbon fiber with a nice sheen on it. So you don't feel the carbon fiber. It has like a plexiglass. It feels like sheen over it. Again, an older version of it. Reverse S. All of them have that reverse S blade. Again, an earlier one because it's liner lock. And it has ATS 55 steel as well. So it's one of the earlier versions, but oh, I love it. It's so classy. I like the fat, chubby ones because it just gives you just a little bit more weight. They're still very light knives. And now, these are the ones that are more common that you can pick up that you're used to. This is the all stainless steel. This one happens to have the Spidey edge. And to make it thinner, even more thinner, Spyderco went to the Chris Reeve integral lock. Yeah, frame lock on these. So you have the stainless steel. I have all the versions because I love them. This is my least favorite. That's the tattoo version. You guys haven't even seen me carry this as a keychain knife. I've had it for a year. I just don't carry it. Tattoo, see, it's a cricket on the little tattoo on the front. Stainless steel, other than that, etched in tattoo. I love the etched version. Stainless steel etch gives you a little bit of attraction. Not like you're going to cut down a tree with these, but also it feels just great in the hand. Looks nice, hides all the dinks and danks as well. This is where we get to the modern stuff, you know, the stainless steel, the tattoo, this etch version are all VG10 steel. And then I have the last two in my Cricket collection. The last two knives of the reverse S and the Hawkbill blades in my Spyderco collection are the Precision knives. VG10 steel and the wonderful Precision pattern and that glass fiber weave. And again, these are modern, so they have the Chris Reeve integral frame lock on the end. There you have it, folks. Yeah, these are long videos that you can pause, fast forward, whatever. These are part of the collection video. I'm not even halfway done. This is the Spyderco-palooza. This is Keith, Kevin, Ken. I'm Kevin. Please thumb this up. Let me know that you love these collections. They're going to keep coming. Hit that subscribe button. We're now making our way to 2,000. This is to celebrate 1,000. We're making our way to 2,000. Once we do, I'm giving away 2 knives. At least one of them, at least one, which means I'm still open, maybe both, will be a Sprint Run limited edition Spyderco that I know that you will love. And those are new knives as well. Thumb it up, subscribe, hit that notification because I have a bunch more knives to come in this Spyderco-palooza. Thank you very much. You guys have a perfect day. Keep those pockets full. Goodbye.